everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and this is the Astral Library. And check out the new look. It's the new hair for a while. We went for a split dye look. I hope you like it. If not, oh well, it's my hair. But it is time for the magical readathon, and this is the vlog that we are going to be doing. I've decided to make this a full month-long vlog, so I'm just gonna take you around for the month. It is the second day of September. I didn't do any recording on the first day because I was just doing things. It was Labor Day. But I did actually start my first read, so we're coming at this with already a progress update, so go us. I could show you my TBR, but honestly, I don't want to go grab it. I literally just got back from getting my hair done, so I've been sitting in a chair all day, and we started watching the third season of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and mind you, I know nothing about that series. I've not watched a single episode until today, and I'm hooked. And Team Conrad, so it is what it is. I will be continuing that season as soon as I get done filming this clip, mind you that. But I have made progress. Like I said, I have started the first book of my TBR, which is Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. This is technically the second book in the Hannibal Lecter series. You might be asking, Emily, have you read the first one? No. Have I read the sequel? Yes, I have. I read Hannibal, and Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite films ever. So I thought, why not go ahead and read the book to see if it's as good as the movie or better. And so far, the movie actually did a pretty good adaptation. I haven't seen like a ton of differences between them. I am 38% of the way through the book. I have to say, I don't love the narrator. He's okay. But I wish I would have just had a female narrator for Clarice because, oh, Clarice, the woman you are, I love her. I love her in this book / I love her in the movie. One of my favorite female detectives, despite her fate in the next book. Still very interesting. And getting to read Hannibal again after it's been many, many years since I've read the sequel Hannibal. It's kind of, I forget how creepy he is. He's so fucking creepy. And I'm just having a good time. Like I said, I started it yesterday. So I've put in some work. Like I said, I'm 38% of the way, so I'm almost halfway there. And that's probably gonna be one of the few audiobooks I do for this, just because trying to split up my time. We got some big, beefy books. If you wanna know exactly what the TBR is, you can go ahead and check out my TBR video that I posted. Will we stick to that? To be determined. For as of this moment, I do still plan to continue with that TBR. In fact, I have Mercy Maker as my first physical read. I have not started it yet. I'm currently looking at it sitting on my shelf, and I should start it today. But I also need to finish my paper. So I'm going to be using sprints tonight to work my paper and probably start reading that book. So it will be a little column A, column B, but we're in it. I'm excited. It's my favorite readathon of the year. And wish me luck because it's always the hardest time of the year because your girl's got to read 6 books in a month, but it's okay. I have most of September off, so I have more time than I usually would. But yeah, I just wanted to come in and say hello. Welcome you to the vlog. Hope you grab a snack. It's probably gonna be a long one. And I'll be back when I have another update, either when I finish this book or when I've started something else. Hello, welcome to the update. I am coming at you on the 4th, the 5th? The 5th. Clearly, you can see that I have my days together and I have my shit together. Totally. But I am coming with an update because I have, in fact, finished Silence of the Lambs. I just finished the audiobook. I want to say maybe an hour or two ago. I was listening to it as I was playing Minecraft, I believe. I ended up giving it 3 stars, not because I think it's a bad book. Not at all. I gave it 3 stars because it's exactly the movie. And I'm going to be honest, if I have the choice between reading the book and watching the movie, I'm just gonna watch the movie. The differences between the two are so minor. So minor that it's almost not... See, I told you we were gonna get interrupted by my timer. But the differences are so minor that it's negligible. I would say they're pretty 1-to-1. And that just made this kind of a boring read because I just knew everything that was gonna happen. Oh, my camera's just getting steadily lower. Hello. But yes, so that made this kind of a boring read. Wasn't my favorite. The audiobook narrator was just okay. It wasn't a terrible time, wasn't a great time. Again, I will just continue watching the movie. It does make me wonder if I want to read Red Dragon or if I want to just watch the film Red Dragon, because first and foremost, there's no Clarice in that one. But I also really like the show Hannibal, which deals with Will's character. But from what I understand, Will's character in Red Dragon is very different than Will in Hannibal. And I don't know if I want those two to meet necessarily in my head. I think I might just want to do a show Will. I will decide what I want to do with that. There is an Anthony Hopkins Hannibal Lecter that he does Red Dragon. I might watch that because the one time I did, I was kind of distracted, so I never like fully like put my attention to it. So I'm like half watched it. I will probably read Hannibal Rising, which is the prequel book where we learn Hannibal's origin story. I think that will be really interesting because that's not in either the show or the movies. There's a movie, but I haven't seen it, and nor do I particularly want to see it. So that might be the plan. I might not read Red Dragon. I might just read Hannibal Rising, which is good because I have Hannibal Rising in hardback and I do not have Silence of the Lambs nor Red Dragon in hardback. I think they're both mass market paperbacks, which are not my favorite format of book really to read. So that is what I finished. I have also been making progress in The Mercy Makers by Tessa Gratton. I am about that much in. I'm on page 138. So I'm not too far in, but I'm far enough in that I have a good sense of the plot. I have a good sense of the writing style. And I was talking about this book on Sprints this week, and people were telling me that it wasn't well received. And I went to look at the reviews to see why, because I was enjoying it. I didn't see anything really a problem with it. And people have issues with the writing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not see it. And the only place I kinda saw it was in the scene where we got like the mythology of the world. That was definitely a little bit more lyrical rather than straightforward prose. But I also understood it, and I don't think it's difficult or without purpose. I think it's stylistic much more than some of the other things that have what I think are actually purple prose and pointless flowery language like Caraval. We can fight if you want in the comments. That book is terribly written. This, I don't think so. I actually really enjoy Tessa Gratton's writing so far. I think it's atmospheric enough to get me interested in it, but also does not lose me as a reader. I know what's going on. I also think that the person who wrote the Shakespeare fantasy series is gonna have a bit more of a non-casual reading style in that you can't just pick it up, just like you can't pick up Shakespeare, which is so snobby. I do not mean to sound snobby when I say this, but it kind of makes sense that someone who is that much into Shakespeare and is like a high fantasy Shakespeare version, she's gonna have a prose that I would say is not for casual reading. You have to pick it up and you have to pay attention, which I have been reading this with attention and I haven't had too much of an issue. I think even when my attention was waning a little bit, I was still able to follow pretty closely. So if you've been scared because of what people are saying, I definitely suggest picking it up yourself to see how you find the writing. I don't find any issues with it. I think the world's very atmospheric. I think the magic system's very cool. And the characters are interesting. I'm also unsure if this is going to be a sapphic romance or a poly romance because we got two siblings here and they're both kind of into the main character and our main character is into both of them. So I don't know. Could be both. Cause she also could just end up with the sister. I don't know. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I'm not that far in yet. We've seen more of the sister, but the reaction she had to the brother was pretty strong. So who is to say? I will probably be reading more of that today. I gotta check my dinner in a second, so we're gonna make this quick. Other things that have happened, I've had issues with my car again. You know, because the bad luck streak isn't gone. Or it was supposed to be, but that's a whole nother issue. I'll try to update you later on that. I don't have the time. I don't want my dinner to burn. But that's all the updates I have for right now. I do have a couple more like personal updates, just like shit that's been going on. But I think I'm gonna wait a couple of days to see how things play out. And then I will give you the full tea. But my dinner is currently cooking, so I'm gonna go take care of that. And then I will see you in the next clip. Goodbye. this is editor Emily here, who apparently has noticed that she recorded an entire clip without the mic working. So there's just me talking and updating you about a book that I have no idea what I'm saying at this moment in time. I'm pretty sure I'm talking to you about my time that I was reading Mercy Makers, and I was just yelling at my dog right there. But I'm pretty sure I was talking about how I was almost at the halfway point and that things were picking up, but it was also slowing down. It was a very wild time. Things were starting to really pick up in the story after hundreds of pages of things just not really happening. And I believe that where I left off, I was in insane and need picked up. I'm also talking about how I started Smoke Bin. I instead decided to pick up the audiobook and see how I liked that, just to save some more time, because I was finding that it was taking me longer to read Mercy Makers than I wanted to. But I ended up actually really enjoying it. It wasn't my first time listening to the audiobook for it, but they switched the narrator this time around, and I much preferred the narrator. But I wasn't very far in. I was comparing where I was in the audiobook versus where I was in the physical book. And so between the two of them, I'm enjoying them. I'm making progress. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and go back to other Emily, whose mic is working now. Hello. Quick update. I just finished the audiobook for Smoke Bitten. I have to say, this was by far my favorite Fae book. It was by far my favorite Fae book. And I think it's because we've been dealing with Underhill in the past few books, and she's just such a fascinating entity. I was really interested and captivated the whole time. Plus, there's all the drama going on from what happened in the last book. There's curses, there's relationship drama, there's setup for other things that are going to happen. I had so much fun. Wolf in this book was also just such a weird little entity, and I think it's perfect because the next book's all about Wolf, and I'm very excited to see what is going to happen with that. I will probably have to pick up that book really soon because I've been waiting to learn more about Wolf, and then I'll be one book away from finishing the series. And by finishing, I mean getting caught up, because this woman's still writing these books. All right, but I kind of caught you right before I need to start getting ready for work, so I'm gonna go do that. But I just want to update you because I literally just finished, so I'm having all sorts of fresh thoughts. I loved it so much. It's so good. Mercy Thompson's always such a fun time. No exception. I'm so glad I got to fit this in on the TBR. All right, but like I said, I gotta go. So I'll catch you in the next update, probably when I continue more of Mercy Maker, which I did read over sprints, and I'm now 60% of the book, 66%. I made quite a bit of progress last night. I'll probably be closer to finishing that tonight as well. We'll see. I might want to play games when I get home because I'm gonna get off work pretty late. That's all the update I have for you. I have laundry that needs to be done and I need to get ready. So catch you later. Hello. I forgot I needed to hold this mic. It's been a couple days, I think, since I last updated you, but I have good news. First and foremost, I did in fact finish the Mercy Makers. And I have to say, despite my kind of misgivings or kind of hesitance with the book, overall, I think it was really well done. And I'm very curious to see what is going to happen in the rest of the series, because the way the book ends, I was just I need more. I literally sat down to read that book last night and I was okay, I'm just gonna read 50 pages. And then I looked, I was maybe I'll read 60, 70 pages to get to the end of the next section. And then I reached the end of the section, I was I just have to continue. I need to know what happens, which has not happened in a while. There's been very few times where I'm I need to know. I need to consume this book right here, right now. And I did. And it was great. I'm very curious. I think Tessa Gratton is setting up a lot of really cool and interesting things, not only with the magic system, which is so complex, not only in just what the magic is, but how it is viewed in this society, because it has very heavy religious tie-ins to it. And the idea of heresy and what's right versus wrong, and characters who are diametrically on the other side. I'm fascinated with each and every character. And the relationship we're getting, I was not expecting to be as invested as I was, but I am. And it's definitely towing that line of true enemies to lovers, okay? true enemies to lovers where we're having like huge differences that we cannot reconcile. There's also smut if you're into that. Not too much of it that it takes away from the plot. There's just enough there that kind of like gives it something extra and fun, but also feels like it's adding to this overall tension. Like I said, really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I'm curious to see where the rest of the series is going to go. I will be picking it up as soon as it's released because I just need to know what happens. It ends on a cliffhanger of sorts, and I'm like, but what is going to happen? And so I need to know. In addition to that, I have been listening to Babel just kind of on the side as I'm driving. I've been listening to it as I've been playing games too, so it makes me feel like my gaming's been productive. So I'm pretty far into this book, and I don't think I've talked too much about it. And I'm not going to say a lot here because I have a lot of complicated thoughts around this book, because this book is very, very kind of like divisive in how people think of it. Either people really like this or people really don't. But one of the most common things I've seen and heard about this book is that it's very heavy-handed. And ever since I've heard that critique, there's something about it that just pisses me off. And I wish I had the words for you right now to explain why it pisses me off. But I'm still working through it myself, so I don't want to share my thoughts. When I finish this book, I will come to you with my full thoughts on what I think of that critique and what I think of this book as a whole. Overall, I'm enjoying it. I do not think it's a perfect novel by any means. I definitely think there's parts of it that is fighting itself to be something it just doesn't have to be. Overall, though, I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot. There's a lot of like complicated moving parts of it, but I'm enjoying the audiobook. I really like the characters and how complex their relationships are, and how it's very much showing the imperfect sides of close relationships, especially at the part where I'm at now. We're really getting to look at what this book is and like how these characters are going to interact now that they're faced with some pretty big decisions. I've heard the ending's a little sad, so I'm bracing for that, but I still have about 40% of this book left. So I have no idea where this book is going to go. And I would say that's probably one of my biggest complaints, is that there's just too much going on at times. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I don't think this is going to be my highest rated book on this list, but that also doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying the book, nor that I don't think it's really well done. R.F. Kuang just like has this like style, right? And I loved Yellowface, and I'm seeing why people really, really like this book. I'm curious to see how this is going to be in comparison of Catabasis. I always forget how to pronounce it, even after her interview where she pronounced it for us, whatever the case may be, because that seems like it's going to be Babel-esque, but more humor. So I might have to pick that up soon, but my friend is also going to read it. So Sarah, if you're watching, definitely let me know if you picked it up at this point, because I'm curious to see how it's going to compare, because they're both dealing with academia and people kind of in the midst of it. That's getting off topic. That's future reads, not for Magical Readathon. I have 3 books left on my TBR. I have Spoiler Alert, Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation Volume 4, and Something is Killing the Children Volume 1. So I'm still probably going to leave Something is Killing the Children for last, just because it's quick and easy. I just need that final boost at the end of the month, because school starts at the end of the month and your girl just like needs something easy as she's kind of in the midst of that. In addition to that, I think I'm going to be starting Spoiler Alert next, just because I need a bit of a palate cleanser, because I've been like so deep in the fantasy that I need something more as a buffer before I go into Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation, just because I feel that if I don't, I'll get burnt out of that really quickly and then I won't want to read it. So we're gonna give it its best shot so I enjoy it. I don't think I'm not gonna enjoy it. I think we're at the part of the story that I'm like invested, but we're gonna give it that palate cleanser. I also think I'm just gonna read Spoiler Alert very quickly. So that's something too. But that's all the update I have for you now. I'm going to enjoy some more gaming, listening to Babel, and let's see if I can get this book finished. I probably won't, because I think I have something like 5 hours left, and I don't think I'm gonna be sitting here for 5 hours, but you never know. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next update. Bye!
기웠어 나 다 있어도
happened again. Hi, Editor Emily back here again with another clip that is me just talking into a mic for no reason. I'll have to double check my mic settings because this happened way too often, and you'll see so in the next clip. But I have to include this because I am talking about how I finished, spoiler alert here, and how it was a book that I wasn't really like super duper like thought I would love, but I ended up actually really liking it because the characters were just so fun and vibrant, and it like tackled real issues that come with being like a plus size woman, and it didn't shy away from that at all, and I think it was handled actually very, very well. I ended up listening to this in a combination of the audiobook as well as the like reading the physical book. I would say I read the majority of it, but I used the audiobook to kind of supplement my time because I was running around this week in particular. And like I said, I actually really enjoyed it. I think the audiobook narrators were like really good and fun. I think it added a lot to it. I enjoyed the story. I love the way that fandom was tied into this. I found myself like laughing and just like, oh my god, this person for sure was in like AO3, the trenches, and writing. And every character felt very, very real and fun and alive. That also reminds me, I was updating here that Winnie has been sick that week and she wasn't feeling well, and we were kind of worried about it, which is why I ended up canceling Sprint. Just spoiler alert, I have taken her to the vet since this clip. She is 100% fine again. We think she might have eaten something. She's fine. Everything's fine. This book was good. Another point I want to touch on is I did in fact finish Babel in this clip, and I believe I was talking about it. I still don't have like the full set of words here. I said it so well in this clip, which is why I'm so mad that the voice is gone. The long short of it is I enjoyed the book. The major critique I had for it was that the fantastical element was not developed enough, I think, to like be marketed as a fantasy book, and I think like this book did not need that fantastical element to make it good. In fact, I think it only held this book back because we kept trying to like go back to this fantasy element and try to like shoehorn it in when it wasn't quite working because we weren't interested in that. This book was not interested in its fantastical element, so it didn't need to be there in my opinion. That's a critique I have that I've heard people talk about, and I think that's valid. As for the comment about it being too heavy-handed, I still hate that, and I said it here, and I wrote it on my Goodreads review for this book, but essentially I think that boils down to that if you're saying this is heavy-handed, you are kind of missing the point, because we have these characters who are facing very racist and like built-in long-lasting racist regimes and institutions that they cannot ignore it. It is not something that they can like, oh, it's heavy-handed, like, yeah, I get it, like, enough. Like, it's their everyday life. These characters are forced to reconcile with the fact that they will never be held to the same account, the same prestige. They'll always be seen as lesser within these institutions and within these like mindsets that people have. This book is told through the characters and the perspective of BIPOC characters facing that reality every day. So yes, of course it's quote unquote heavy-handed because it's present and there, and you cannot escape it. And I don't think that is a detriment to this book at all. I think it is really enforcing this lived experience that would be present for these characters who are not only BIPOC, but also BIPOC in a university setting. So I'm going to leave it there because, again, I said it all in this clip. I don't feel like rehashing it now because it kind of makes me a little bit mad. We're gonna go ahead and go on to our next clip, which you're gonna see a mic issue had popped up again, but this time I caught it, so I don't have to do another voiceover. Hello! I tried to record this last time and my mic was working, so double checking the mic's on this time, so we can actually get this update going. But hello! Welcome back. It's been, I don't know how long, it's been a minute since I've updated, but it is the final week of Magical Readathon, technically. There's actually some days left in the month next week, but I had promised myself I was gonna get the recording done this week so I can, edit it and get it out next week. So it's crunch time, guys. It's crunch time. So if you don't see me every day this week, me recording and updating this vlog, there's a problem. I I only have 2 books left, and one of them, and the biggest one, is Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, Volume. And when I originally updated you guys, I said I was only 22 pages in. I have since added some to that. I'm now 100 pages in. I'm this far, and it is a total of like 320 pages. Yeah, it's 319. Totally doable. Tonight, my goal is to read 50 more pages. I might try to bump that to 100 pages just because I know I read this rather quickly. It's got pretty decently sized font, and I already know the story. So it's not like I'm reading to like get full comprehension again. I know what's going on, and I know and I know the general beats of the story. I might try to do 100 pages tonight, so that'll put me at 200 pages, which means I'm well on my way to finishing this book on time, especially because I do have one more book to read, which is over there. I'm not gonna go grab it, but it is volume 1 of Something is Killing the Children. I'll throw up the cover on screen so you can see what that looks like if you've never seen it. But that's an itty bitty tiny graphic novel, which there's a reason why I left that at the very end, because I knew I was gonna be crunching on time and that I can fly through in, I don't know, maybe an hour or 2 if I really took my time. We're in the final stretch of it. We're gonna win. We're gonna do it. I'm not gonna have to do any like DNS or extensions. It's been a lot. Doing a lot of audiobooks actually. I did the book club pick, which was an audiobook. I did the Mercy Thompson book as an audiobook. I think I did like 3 audiobooks in this vlog, which is a lot, but my brain has not like been conducive to like sitting down and reading. Also, other update, and the reason why my mind's been a little everywhere is that Winnie was not feeling well, but I'm just happy it wasn't a major issue because the vet bills can get super expensive, and I just finished paying off Dolores. I don't want another vet bill that will take a million years to pay off, you know? But that's not the case. She's fine. Everyone's fine. Life is lifing. I've gotten great updates on my dissertation project. I'm at a good place there. Life is working, but school is starting, and our semester here at Magical Readathon is almost ending, so I really need to kick my ass into gear so we can finish this out. I also need to record more like aesthetic clips to kind of go between these shots, because as much as you love staring at my face, I understand that sometimes you can get a little fatigue of seeing the same thing. So we're gonna mix it up, and I need more clips to do that. Well, you've probably already seen some fruits of my labor. I do have sprint in an hour or so. So during there, I will be reading this book, of course, trying to get 100 pages done, which I think I can do. We'll be playing some Sims tonight, which is great because I missed last week because of Winnie and a headache. Things are looking up. Things are going great. I'm excited. We're gonna finish strong. We're going to survive and thrive. Okay. Well, that's all the updates I have for you. I just wanted to check in now that I've read and, refilm this clip because the last one didn't have great audio or didn't have any audio. Haven't actually looked at it yet, which I need to do because this card's almost full. I'm gonna go do all those things and I will catch you in the next update. So remember how I said that if you didn't see me every day this week, I was gonna be in trouble? Well, it's Friday. Yay! It means I'm off. And you haven't seen me since maybe Wednesday. Maybe if I was really good on Wednesday. No, I think it was Tuesday. That's also coincidentally when I last picked up to read for this vlog. But I'm in a good spot because when I ended sprint on Tuesday, my goal was to read 100 pages to get to page 200, and I did. And this book ends at 319, so I only really have 119 pages left, which is so easy to do. It really didn't take me that long to do 100 pages, especially because I was pretty not focused for most of it. So I'm going to try to knuckle down right now. I have Princess's Sprints going on right now. So I was watching a bit of that and participating and chatting. But now I need to kind of like knuckle down and like get some more reading done. So I want to read this segment right now, which is roughly about like 60-ish pages. And then I just want to kill the remaining chunk tonight. So that is my plan. I'm going to finish this book tonight because I have to still edit this vlog. And I still have one more book I need to read. Timelines are happening quickly. School's starting on Monday. I also have to make sure I like semi-reading for that class. It's gonna be a time, but it's okay. We got it. We're gonna thrive and survive and finish this semester out with a bang because your girl's tired, but she's done it. She hasn't had to do any substitutes, and I'm not going to do any substitutes. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna start reading, and I will catch you when I finish my next segment. I'll catch you up there and give you more of my thoughts and what's going on. Hello. My dog's food alarm just went off, so we're gonna see how long they let me do this before it gets out of control. It's already a little out of control because Dolores is back here scratching. But I wanted to come at you because I, in fact, finished Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation. I was planning on updating you when I first hit that 62 page mark, but it coincided when I was going to eat dinner with my parents. So I didn't do that. I ended up coming back and finishing it, and I just decided to blitz through the last 40 or so pages. And I want to give this book more stars than I'm going to, because honestly, I was mostly just kind of bored throughout the entire thing. It was okay. It was nice to always get back into this world and these characters. But I think because I've consumed this story so many times already, there's nothing exciting about it. It's nice to get the actual romance development, and that's what kind of kept me engaged a little bit. But overall, this book, first off, not a lot happens at all. It's a lot of backstory. I think the first 100 or so pages is all taking place in the first timeline, and then the little we get of this timeline, not much is happening. We've been sitting around and talking a lot. I will say my favorite scene from the show is in this book, but it hasn't hit as hard, I would say. And I think it's because I knew it was coming. And maybe it's just the mood I'm in. Maybe it's just not as, maybe I'm tired of the story, or I'm tired of the same beats, because this is pretty damn similar to the actual TV show, despite that the order of events and the reveals are different. When we get the reveals, not the reveals themselves. Maybe that's kind of added to my fatigue, but I just didn't have as much fun with this as I normally would, and I find that sad. I'm hoping the last book is better, because we are reaching the conclusion, and that's where I should get the most new content in terms of we actually get to see the full development of the relationship, which the show did not have because censorship. So that's gonna be really interesting. How long it's gonna take me to get to it, I don't know. I think I need a break after this one, which is tends to be the pattern with this series. I'll read one that's meh, and then I'll read another one that's really good. But I do only have one left, so that is pretty good in terms of making progress on Serial Killer. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a total of 3 stars, almost teetering on a 2.5, but I was engaged enough that I never wanted to just put this book down and never finish it. I did read large chunks of this novel at one time, and I would not have done that for a 2.5 star. So we're gonna go ahead and let it be at a 3 star. That's the last major novel I needed for Magical Readathon. I've already logged it. It's done and dusted, and we only have one more. We just have a graphic novel, because I'm looking at my stack for October, which I'm not gonna show you now. You're gonna have to wait for the video that I think will come directly after this one of that TBR, and it's already a beefy one. but I'm hoping it's one I'm going to be more excited about because it's got some new releases in it. It's got very like atmospheric for the season reads. I have to go feed my dogs because they are looking at me. They're waiting around. I do only have like 34 minutes left on this SD card, so I gotta empty this out too. And I gotta start editing this vlog. It's bedtime, but we're almost there. Let's go ahead and cross that finish line. We did it, folks. We have made it. It is the end, and I am happy to say we have read all 7 books from my Magical Readathon TBR. Yes, we made it somehow, some way, through several audiobooks, through just general interesting times, through some wild times, some books I enjoyed, some books I didn't think I was gonna enjoy, but ended up really enjoying. We're done. We did it. Yay! Oh my God. I didn't film any of my thoughts surrounding the last book I read, which is Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1, because I did it at the end of like a really long day. And I just decided to like immerse myself in the vibes. And the vibes were immaculate. I really enjoyed this one. It's spooky. It's definitely horror-esque. And it's a little gory. And it set me in the perfect mood for October because it is spooky season. It is spooky month. And I am so excited. I'm so excited to dive into the video I have planned for October, which is going to be a month-long reading vlog, so look forward to that. We did it, guys. All my books are logged. They're all read. I didn't do any substitutes whatsoever for this TBR. The TBR I started the month with is the TBR I ended the month with. And I read a total of 7 books, which is amazing by my standards, if I do say so for myself, especially with how much of a reading slump I've been in lately. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here because I got a couple more I gotta record, so time is a tight, but that just means you guys have more content to look forward to, especially one coming out in just a couple days after this one. Just so maybe keep an eye out on the 1st of October. But that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I hope you enjoyed seeing me go through these reads and just hearing all my thoughts on them. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you participate in Magical Readathon. How did it go? What was your favorite book that you read? I think of all the books that I read for my TBR, my favorite was surprisingly The Mercy Makers. Because even though this was quite slow in the beginning, it's the one that stuck with me the longest. Like I kept thinking about the characters in the world. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to progress. And of course, I did love Mercy Thompson because I always love Mercy Thompson. But definitely I think The Mercy Makers is my top one from this vlog. But I'm gonna go ahead and go now. If you like this video, consider leaving a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Again, what did you do this month? What did you read? What did you love? What did you hate? Let me know in those comments down below. But otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!